Good morning, dear ones, and a very, very happy Thursday. And as we continue on our journey of self-healing and self-love and self-respect, I hope that yesterday's journaling questions are starting to resonate with you. And instead of continuing on more of the chakras at this stage, I'm going to give us a little bit of a sacred pause in the chakras so that you can do your journaling, and we'll look at the meditation things tomorrow. I'm going to rather focus today on where our beliefs come from, and I'm going to look at an exercise which I have referred to a few times on this platform with regards to changing our thoughts and changing our beliefs, and how we do that and how we are prepared for that. We are going to be doing the 7 chakras over 7 weeks, so we're going to be looking at these things in depth, and also you need time to assimilate this knowledge, take it within you, make it part of you so that you are able to understand it, embody it, be it, live it, and be able to take it across. And if I'm not giving you the exercises and the practical methods in order to take this into your life, then I would be remiss in assisting you with your holistic life coaching. So we're going to look today at where your beliefs come from. The beliefs that you have today come from how you were brought up as a child. And when we were children, the only example we had of how to be a man or a woman, or even in a relationship, came from our parents. They were the only examples that we had of a working heterosexual relationship. And I say working very loosely because some of us didn't have, they thought it was working, but it wasn't necessarily as successful as it was assumed to be. And in order for us to know whether we were doing right or wrong as children, we looked to our parents for approval of our actions, reactions, and even how to react during conflict. This patterning is so very strong that it even extends to how you love yourself and how you show your self-approval and what voices are going on inside of your head. A little quote from Julienne Nguyen: "I am here to inform you that you have the right to find who you really are to yourself." So the next exercise I'd like you to do, please, is I'd like you to take your journaling book and on a clean page, make a heading at the top, I can't. And now list all of the things you feel or believe that you are unable to do, unable to be, okay? Keep the opposite page clear and free, and if you continue, just then skip that page so that you've got a mirrored page on the other side always, okay? There's a reason for that. We'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, so list them. Be honest with yourself. This is only for you. This is in your journal book. So all of the things you feel you cannot do. List those things that you perhaps had a dream of when you were a lot younger and feel you cannot do that because of, don't necessarily write the because, just the things you can't do, okay? All right, so once you've done that, now let's look at the other page that's next to it and then write, I can. So on that I can't page, skip over a couple, and the I can page, skip over a couple, and now list as many things you can think of that you can remember your parents saying to you about what you did. Look at the things they said to you when you were praised, okay? Then look at the things that they said to you when you were disobedient. And then look at the things they said to you when you disappointed them. Differentiate your list. Make one list of all the ways you were reinforced positively, praised and encouraged, and then another list of how you felt when you were scolded. And then once you've done that, compare the list of the things that you were scolded with the other list of the things you can't do, okay? How many things of these do you continue to practice today? When you really think about it, how often do you actually hear the sound of your parents' voice in your ears, saying those exact same things today? How many of these things are the same as those things that you've listed on the I can't list? So how frustrated do you feel right now? Would you agree that the beliefs you have today are not really your own beliefs, but rather the beliefs of somebody else? When we grow up, we have a tendency to recreate the emotional environment of our early life. And how does this statement make you feel? Are you a bit angry about it? You might be a bit resentful, perhaps. Okay, so now you're going to go back to the page headed I can't, okay? And then you're going to look at how many of these items you would be able to change if you just released these old beliefs. What if you were to change the way you spoke to yourself and not having the voice of your parents echoing in your head? Instead of telling yourself you're a failure and you never do anything right and you're a bad person and you don't deserve to be happy, you don't deserve to be treated well, you don't deserve to be prosperous. What if you made a conscious choice to turn each and every one of those statements around? How could you change these statements? So now go back to the blank page opposite I can't, where you've now headed I can, and now change exactly as you've written the I can't statements. Write them exactly the same, but change them to I can. Exactly the same, but I can. Examine how you feel about that. What do these new statements make you feel? Do you believe them? Or is it a little bit freeing to actually read the things that you can't do and actually read that you can do them? How does it make you feel that you can? Very important. Remember, never blame your parents. They were only doing what they thought was right at the time in their lives. They didn't have all of the answers either. They only did what they could with the knowledge that they had at the time. Bearing in mind that they also were children at one stage, who also had parents echoing in their own heads, and a very, very different time of the world at that stage too. Remember, they could only do what you have done, really. Continued the pattern of what they learned as children from their own parents. And if you want to understand why they made the decisions that they still make today, it's time for you to make some time for them and ask them about their childhood and how they were brought up. This is understanding where, yes, it's understanding you, but it's understanding where their agreements came from and then taking it back as far as you can see, because you have not only the opportunity, but you have the strength and the courage to change things that have been handed down, not only in your DNA, but energetically too, from generation to generation to generation. You need to understand as well that, and appreciate and comprehend that they were always only human beings. They were also children. They're not infallible. Ask them perhaps to do the same exercise if you are close enough to do that with them, and see what their outcomes are. They were also children. They also were just as afraid and frightened as you may be today, or even when you were a child, they did exactly the same. You will be astounded at what comes up, and you will truly grasp and perceive how long this patterning has been going on, and it is now up to you, because you have the knowledge, right? It's up to you to stop the cycle. You can stop it. It doesn't have to keep continuing from generation to generation to generation. You do not have to visit onto your children the fears that you have lived your life with. This is where the universal laws come in. Those negative memories that were brought up during that exercise were from a very different time in your life. And because of the universal law of vibration, we know that everything is circular. And this means that when we think about our bad memories and we feel badly about them, we are sending that bad energy to them, and those bad emotions that make us feel down, worthless, undeserving of all of the good in the world. That energy is coming back and smacking us. Now, stop hurting yourself. The present is not only a gift. Okay, that's why it's called the present, because it's a gift. Now is also where the power is. Yesterday we made today. Today we make tomorrow. What are you going to be choosing for your tomorrow? Remember, dear ones, the 4 agreements and the 5 Reiki principles. Love yourself unconditionally. You deserve all of the good the universe has in store for you. Mwah. Happy Thursday.